There's a magical formula for getting anything you desire that I was taught a long time ago from a New Thought teacher, and it works really well regardless of what your spiritual bent is, whether you're Wiccan or witch, Christian, Jew, pagan. It doesn't matter. It works. It's a universal formula for getting what you desire. And it's very simple. So I'll give you the formula and then we'll talk about each of the steps in the formula and why it works so well. You don't need any tools, but you can add it to any kind of spell you already use. You can do it out loud, you can do it mentally, or you can write it. Sometimes writing it is my favorite way of doing it. Here is the entire formula. I desire, and then you state what you desire, in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way. Thank you for already hearing me. Like I said, she was a New Thought practitioner, and so she said, "Thank you, Father," because that was her idea of her higher power. You can thank whatever you want as your higher power. There's only one power, so it doesn't matter what you call it. What does matter is that you connect with the idea of it. So if you think of your creator as a father, by all means, thank you, Father, for already hearing me. Thank you, Goddess. Thank you, God, whatever. It doesn't matter. So I desire blank, in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way. Thank you for already hearing me. Any kind of spell casting that you do, if you repeat it, you just want to repeat it until you get the emotional response that it is done, and then you want to stop. Because the whole idea of a good spell is once it's cast, then you want to forget about it. Move on to something else and let it do its thing. The less that you think about it, the better. Once your spell is cast, just let it be. And if you're guided, if the infinite guides you to taking steps, absolutely take them. But other than that, it's best to just leave it alone. And don't doubt it. Just know, just have that faith that we talk about, that you've done what you're supposed to do. You've followed the formula, you've set the process in motion, and then your job is to be patient and be calm and not ask where it is, not dictate how it's supposed to manifest. Just let it be. Impatience and stress and trying to force outcomes will always disrupt the process of any kind of magic. So let's go through the formula. First thing you need to do is desire something. If you don't really want it, don't do it, because then you won't have enough magic behind it. The force of desire is the main catalyst of any spell. So that's your fire body, your magical will. So you have to really want it. This isn't something to do for a project that you think you should have or you should do. It's something that you really want. The other thing too is make sure that your desire is somewhat within your current magical sphere of influence. If it's something that you don't believe you're capable of achieving or receiving, then you won't be able to lean into the spell. We've talked about your will. Your will is part of the desire, and then your faith has to be equally involved. Remember, your fire body and your water body are the main two elements, the primary two elements. And out of the interaction between fire and water come the air and then the earth, which is the manifestation. So those are the two main ingredients. Your will, which is connected to a very acute desire for something, and then your faith that it will happen for you. Make sure that you work on a desire that is within the realm of possibility. As you get better and better at this, what you believe is possible is going to expand, and it sometimes happens rather rapidly, and success begets that. The more successful you are, the wider your sphere of influence, because the more you have faith that what you work your magic on comes to pass. That's the first thing, is making sure that desire is within your sphere of influence so that you can have not only the fiery desire and will to make it happen, but the faith that it can happen for you. The next part of this formula is in harmony with all. And the reason why we like that is it assures your deep mind that you're not up to something naughty. We've been trained in this world that our desires either don't matter, or they're not good, or we don't deserve to have them, etc. So when you claim that it's in harmony with all, you're reassuring your mind that this is good. It's not only good for you, but it's good for the whole world. You making this money, good for everybody. You having this health is wonderful, and it's in harmony with every other person. Whatever it is that you're asking for, a perfect mate, a solution to a problem, it's in harmony with all. If it's in harmony with all, it means that you're connected to your true will. Because remember that your true will comes straight from the divine design. And since the divine design is both divine and a design, it means that everything that's part of the divine design belongs there and doesn't interfere with itself. There's no hostility within the divine design. There's nothing that has inherent discord within the divine design. So if you're claiming that your will, your desire, is in harmony with all, you are aligning your desire with your true will. So not only does that give you assurance that it's good for everybody, but it also empowers it to happen even more perfectly. We're starting to open ourselves up to the idea that I have this desire. Since it's in harmony with all, I'm also willing for the desire to be tweaked on my behalf so that it does fit into my true will. In any places that I may not have understood, where that desire maybe was not in harmony with my true will, I'm willing for it to be tweaked. And the reason why I'm willing for it to be tweaked is because then it will be even better than what I came up with. A lot of people worry if it's in harmony with all, what happens if that means that I can't get it? No, you'll get it, but you'll get it in an even better way than what you came up with. And that's a good thing. So I desire blank in harmony with all, according to divine will. Now, if it's according to divine will or the divine design, your willpower is not ever being taxed. You don't ever have to worry about generating a bunch of power for this. The power is already there for this to happen because it's according to divine will. And what happens to many of us is we think, I can either have the infinite's will or I can be happy. I can either have the infinite's will manifest in my life or I can have what I want. And when we remind ourselves through this formula that it's in accordance with divine will, then we have an understanding that the divine wants us to have this in its most wonderful manifestation. The divine wants us to be happy, prosperous, healthy, fulfilled, in a relationship, having the gizmos that we want, whatever it is that we really desire. If you really desire it with your heart, the universe desires it for you. And so, of course, you want to plug into that divine will because divine will is all power, focused on you getting what you want in a way that's for your highest good, that will make you happy. And if you're happy and your true will is being expressed in this, then everybody that it touches will also be blessed by it. Under grace, the idea of grace is misunderstood as far as I'm concerned by most people. Most people think what grace is that I'm a miserable sinner, just like everybody else. But because God is so nice, He's going to look the other way and be good to me anyway, in spite of how much I don't deserve it. Now, how empowering is that? It's not. So let's understand what grace is. Grace is that you don't have the power to make the infinite stop loving you. No matter what you think or say or what you've been taught, there is nothing in the world that can make the infinite stop loving you. And there is nothing that can make the infinite love you less or more than it already does, because the infinite loves you infinitely. That's grace. So no matter what you think, no matter what anybody's told you, no matter what the storyline is in your life, it doesn't matter. None of that matters, because grace is the truth that the infinite loves you and wants you happy, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what you've been thinking or what you've been taught. The infinite's love for you is greater than any other force in the universe. So under grace, that means it doesn't matter if you think you deserve it or not. A lot of times when you hear about things like affirmations, we are told you have to instill within your mind that you deserve this thing. Grace doesn't care whether you think you deserve it or not, because it knows you do. Grace knows you do because of who you are, not because of anything you've done. The universe loves you because you're you, not because of something you've done to prove it, and not in spite of anything you think you've done. It's constant. So it's a very smart idea to invoke grace into your spellcasting procedures, because it bypasses any of that deservingness nonsense that we think that we have to navigate. It doesn't matter if you think you deserve it or don't deserve it, or what you think you've done or didn't do, or how much guilt you've been carrying. None of that matters. The universe does not care, because the universe's love for you is maximal. If you align yourself with that grace that is always your birthright, then you bypass all kinds of nonsense. So I desire such and such in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way. In a perfect way is such an important part of the formula, because even though you may be visualizing a specific outcome, and that's fine to do, in fact, you should do it. It's a good thing to do, because that's allowing you to engage your imagination, thinking about your desire, seeing how it might manifest. That's wonderful. But when you say in a perfect way, you're saying, this is just my idea of what I think it is. It's like if you were in Hollywood, you give a treatment for a script. This isn't the final script. This is just a treatment. This is an idea. This is an outline. These are sketches. And then the committee comes together and they say, oh, okay, but let's do this or let's do that. This is what in a perfect way is all about. Yes, this is what I think I want. And I'm willing for it to manifest in whatever way is perfect. Now let's talk about the idea of perfection. This world is not perfect because of the way we project our ego thoughts onto the screen of space. So if you're looking to examples of what perfection is in this world, you're always going to be coming up short. But in the invisible world, there is perfection. If you allow the infinite's will to be projected onto the screen of space, you will experience something very close, at least, to perfect in this world. Rather than relying on yourself to come up with what you think the outcome should look like and committed only to that, let's say you're trying to sell a house and you think it has to sell by this date or it has to sell at this price. You can put that in your visualization, but if you say in a perfect way, you're opening yourself up to what happens if somebody has a bidding war that you didn't think that was possible for you and you get a ton more than what you thought. How about that idea? Or how about if somebody gives you an all-cash offer and you don't even have to worry about escrow? What about all of that kind of stuff? In a perfect way allows you to have this or something even better than what you think you want. It's not that in a perfect way is going to disappoint you. And I think a lot of people are afraid of these kinds of phrases like in a perfect way, under grace, because they think when it manifests, it's going to be manifesting in a way that's less than what I wanted. Why would the infinite want any less for you? The infinite wants more for you. The infinite wants more for you than you think that you want for yourself, because the infinite does not see you in a limited way like you see yourself. We all see ourselves in a very limited way here because of the ways that we have concocted our ego minds. And so our ego is always putting limitations on ourselves. That's how we have 3 dimensions, is because of limitations. This 3-dimensional world is here because of so many limitations. Without those limitations, we would be living in another dimension altogether. So while you're living in this three-dimensional world, if you want things to appear here in the best way possible, then it's very smart to incorporate as part of the process the dimensions that exist in a higher realm than this, because there's a vantage point that you don't have that they can see. If you're working anything in alignment with a higher will and you ask for that higher will to manifest through you, then that higher will has been given permission. It's not going against your will. You're co-creating with that higher will. So you can have things better to the degree that you're willing to open your mind to them, to the degree that you're willing to stop limiting in your mind and in your words the forms and the ways in which these things can manifest. But if you're expecting the infinite to just come in and do it for you, you're always going to be disappointed because you have free will and the infinite will never attack you. And to come in and give you wonderful things that you didn't ask for, that you didn't give permission for, is akin to an attack, even though it seems wonderful. And we've talked about this before, but just imagine that you're sitting at home enjoying the evening and a bunch of soldiers come in and say, oh, we've got all kinds of cool stuff we're going to do for you, so get out of the way. And they just come rifling through your stuff and start to sort things through and maybe knock down some walls because they think that you should have an open floor plan or whatever. That would not feel good. That would feel like an attack because you didn't ask for it. So the infinite will never do that to you. But when you align yourself with the higher will and you say, in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way, you're giving a very clear declaration that you want the infinite to come in and upgrade your desire in whatever way is going to make you the happiest. I desire such and such in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way. Thank you, infinite, for already hearing me. Thank you for already hearing me is so important. And if you look in the Psalms, they do that all the time. They always talk in the past tense as if something's already happened in order to speed up a manifestation. There's a lot of evidence of this in all kinds of magical systems throughout many different cultures. The idea that it's already done, that you don't have to worry about it. When you put in an order at Amazon and you get the response that the order's been filled and you'll have the delivery soon, it's a confirmation that it's already done. And it's just a matter of time before you see it in the physical world. It's already done. I don't have to go looking for it. It's going to show up for me. So thank you, infinite, for already hearing me. For already hearing me. The truth is that the infinite heard you before you did the spell. The infinite already knows what you want. But since it's given you free will, it's waiting for you to ask. It's waiting for you to ask and open yourself up so that whatever these manifestations you desire can come to pass. And you're not being selfish when you do a spell or a prayer or a treatment or whatever you call it. You're not being selfish. You're not limited to only 3 wishes. You have an infinite amount of desires that you can manifest in the highest way possible. As you continue to work magic and you continue to manifest, you will continue to expand your sphere of influence. So what you think is possible will expand as well. And so that's why as you do this more and more, you will be able to see even greater and greater things happen. But you need to practice. So don't think that you should limit yourself. I always say do one thing at a time because it keeps me focused. I don't want to have a bunch of different spells going on at once. Everybody's different. You do you. But for me, I only want to do one thing at a time. But it's not like I do one thing and I say, okay, well, that's enough for a while. Well, no, what's the next thing? And what's the next thing? There's an operation called the magic list where we have 6 items. You just write down 3 things that you want to eliminate and 3 things that you want to achieve or manifest. And you just work magic on one of them at a time. But you keep that list current. And what often happens is when something manifests and you say, okay, now it's time for my next spell, you go to your list, you realize, oh, one or some of these have already manifested, and I didn't even work magic on them. So before I work my next spell, let me update my list so that I have 6 things. I have 3 things that I want to eliminate and 3 things that I want to achieve. And then I'll do the next spell. Frequently, not only will you get the one thing that you worked for, but you'll get one or more, or sometimes even all the things on your list. So that's a wonderful tool. You're not being selfish to want more things, because everything you're asking for is in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace and in perfect ways. And the infinite's waiting for you to ask for it because it can't wait to give it to you. Imagine you bought something really special for somebody and you can't wait for the birthday or the Christmas or the whatever to give it to them. You can't wait to see their face when they open it. That's the infinite's attitude toward you all the time. I can't wait for them to see this wonderful thing that I've got for them. I have to wait for them to ask for it. So the infinite's at the ready all the time, waiting for you to ask. That's a wonderful attitude of mind. So following this formula, I desire such and such in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way. Thank you, infinite, for already hearing me. Using that formula takes a lot of concepts and focuses them down into one fairly simple operation. Now, you can include this with a candle spell or with talismans or anything you want, or you can just do it all by itself as a mental exercise, or like I say, as a written exercise. However you want to do it is fine. I always tend to align my magic with the moon phases if possible. I just find that things work better for me that way. You can work this as an elimination exercise just as well. Let's say you had a sty or something in your eye that you wanted to let go of. You could say, I desire for this sty to be eliminated and that my eye is in perfect health, in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way. Thank you, infinite, for already hearing me. I desire that this debt be eliminated, paid in full, in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way. Thank you, infinite, for already hearing me. I desire for this extra 15 pounds to be eliminated in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way. Thank you, infinite, for already hearing me. So you can use it for elimination just as well as for manifestation. But remember, with elimination, nature abhors a vacuum. So it's a good idea to phrase your desire in such a way that you give an indication as to what you want in its place. I desire for this debt to be paid in full so that my credit score is at 800 or higher, in harmony with all, according to divine will, under grace, and in a perfect way. Thank you, infinite, for already hearing me. When you're eliminating something, at least give some indication of what you'd like to fill the gap with that you're creating. You can use it on the waxing moon and on the waning moon. You can use it in combination with other techniques or alone. A fabulous tool. And I hope that you use it, and I hope that you have as wonderful success with it as I have had through the years. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Until next time, blessed be.